Fans have been in bedrooms for over a century, quietly pushing air through the dark. Most people plug one in without a second thought. But in one country, for decades, this ordinary machine was treated as a possible killer. In South Korea, generations grew up believing that sleeping in a closed room with an electric fan running all night could kill you. Not injure you, kill you. Parents warned their children. Newspapers reported sudden deaths and blamed the fan in the corner. Some models were even sold with automatic timers, built specifically so the fan would shut off before it could, according to the belief, take a life. So what was actually happening? Was there something hidden inside the whir of spinning blades that science had somehow missed? The truth starts with a simpler question. What does a fan actually do to the air around you? A fan does not cool a room. It moves air. That distinction matters more than it seems. When air moves across your skin, sweat evaporates faster, and evaporation pulls heat away from your body.
This is why a breeze feels cooler, even when the thermometer says nothing has changed. Your body is not getting colder because the air is colder. It is getting colder because it is losing heat faster than usual. Now, imagine a closed room. No windows cracked, no door open, just you and a fan running through the night. This is where the fear took root. The belief held that a fan running in a sealed space could somehow use up the oxygen, or fill the room with carbon dioxide, or drop your body temperature so low while you slept that your heart would simply stop. Sounds almost plausible until you check it against what actually happens inside a closed bedroom. A fan does not consume oxygen. It has no way to remove it from the air. It cannot create carbon dioxide either. A fan is not a flame. It is not a chemical reaction. It is a motor turning blades. Nothing more. Even in a fully closed room, a bedroom holds far more air than one sleeping person could use up in a single night. The oxygen levels barely shift.
Then what about the cold? Could moving air really chill a sleeping body enough to be dangerous? Hypothermia is real, and it can kill, but it requires a significant, sustained drop in core body temperature, the kind you might see from prolonged exposure to freezing conditions, not from a fan blowing room temperature air across a covered body in a warm climate. Most of the reported fan deaths happened during hot summer nights, in rooms that were nowhere near cold enough to cause that kind of harm. So, if the physics does not support it, where did the fear come from in the first place? This is where the story stops being about fans and starts being about the human mind. In the 1920s and 1970s, Korean newspapers began publishing stories connecting fan use to sudden, unexplained deaths, often during heat waves. At the time, medical understanding of certain conditions, like undiagnosed heart problems or the effects of alcohol combined with heat, was far less advanced. When someone died suddenly in a room with a fan running, the fan was often the only unusual detail investigators could point to, became the explanation, even though it was likely never the cause.
Once a belief like this enters public consciousness, it rarely leaves through logic alone. It gets passed from parent to child, reinforced by every fresh news story that repeats it. And eventually, it stops feeling like a theory and starts feeling like common knowledge. Nobody questions common knowledge. They just follow it. This is not unique to fans. Human beings are pattern-seeking creatures. When something bad happens, the mind searches for a cause, and it tends to lock on to whatever unusual detail was present at the time, even if that detail had nothing to do with what actually happened. A fan blowing quietly in the corner of a death scene became, in the public imagination, a suspect standing at the scene of a crime. Doctors and scientists have tried for decades to correct the record. The Korea Consumer Protection Board investigated fan death claims and found no scientific basis for them.
International researchers have echoed the same conclusion, and yet the belief persisted for so long that it shaped product design, family habits, and even public health warnings, which raises a quieter, more unsettling question. If a belief this specific, this detailed, this confidently repeated could take hold and spread for nearly a century without any real evidence behind it, what other everyday fears might be built on the same shaky ground? The fan in the corner was never the danger. The real force at work was something far less visible and far more powerful: the human tendency to turn coincidence into causation and repetition into truth. The next time a strange belief crosses your path,
dressed up as common knowledge, it might be worth asking the same question people finally asked about the fan. Is this real, or is this just a story that got told enough times to feel like fact?